Well, good evening. I'm Rick Dancer, and welcome to Get Real with Rick Dancer on a Tuesday. It's our Healthy Tuesday, sponsored by Elements Health Clubs of Lane County. They have three different gyms here in the area, one on West 11th, one at off of Pheasant Boulevard in Springfield, and one at Oakway. And it's my gym. We're going to tell you about that tonight. We're going to talk to Casey, one of the big wigs with the company, about some health tips, because I think we're all kind of feeling like we need to get healthy. And masks and vaccines can all be part of your regiment. But I think we all are kind of to the point now where we realize this is kind of coming to an end, and we want to get ourselves healthy. So when other things come up, we're more suited to fight them, or at least our bodies are. Plus, we're going to show you some of the fun things that Elements Health Clubs offers, like my favorite, the sauna. And I'll tell you what, we'll tell you more about what saunas can do for you. We also have a therapy spa. We have lap pools, indoor and outdoor, at all three of our gyms. Not indoor and outdoor at all three gyms. The Springfield has an outdoor. The other two have indoor. We're going to have Bill come up. Also, Elements, Brian loves to sponsor a travel story. So tonight I went back digging, and I found one of my favorite ghost town stories on Scottsburg, Oregon. And I think you're going to love it. It's pretty cool, and that'll be great. So our sponsors tonight, Elements Health Clubs of Lane County. We also have New Leaf Hyperbaric and Wellness Center. It's all about wellness tonight. So let me show you something. I got to show you what we did today. Kathy and I went, because we had COVID a few weeks ago. And so in our workouts, I've noticed my heart rate is harder to get it up where I need it. And my lung capacity is a little bit flawed. And so what I did was we went over to New Leaf Hyperbaric, and Kathy and I did a hyperbaric treatment together. And so you can buddy up and get together. So it's less expensive, but the two of you get in there together. She was doing work. I was not. I was good. I didn't do my work in there. And then here's another really cool thing, but I'm going to shut off my mic for a second because the train's coming by. Just in case anybody, there you go. And in case anybody wants to know, the Amtrak is in if you have family coming in. But here, check this out. This is another thing Matt offers, light therapy. So this is the light bed. Feels so good. You lay in here and oh my gosh, talk about recovery. It's a great thing. Do that, cool place. So you just climb in there. You can keep whatever clothes you want on. But I figure if I'm going to get light therapy, I want everything getting light therapy. So I picked my poison. Hi, Jason. How are you doing? Hey, Gary. Good to see you on here. Hey, Jim. How are you? Jim is also a member of our gym, and he says he's talking about the steam room that we have. And yes, it's being repaired right now, in process. We also do have a steam room at the Springfield facility. Let me get you our open, and then we're going to get check in with Bill, and then we're going to get Casey on here, talk with him a little bit about health and finding out a little bit more about what we need to do. Who puts up with this? That's what I don't understand.
Bring the lion out, bring the lion.
Tonight on our show, we're going to have... Hey guys, don't you think it's kind of fun that you get to comment on the news? There's a cost. Oh yeah, there's a cost. People come after you. Like, I think that's why this is so much fun, is because... I'll see you at 5.
Good evening. From the News Radio, 1120 AM and 93.7 FM, KPNW Studios, I'm Bill London, and I have hyperbaric hair. You've had, I think, Matt McCarl on the show, 3 or 4 times, Rick? So you know what it's all about. It's awesome. I've been doing it for a couple of years. It is great. Anyway, here's the stories we're looking at tonight. And we're going to start off talking about the little school district that is making big waves around the state, and that is the Alsea School District. Now, if you're not familiar with the story, the LC School Board made masks optional for students and staff, even though the state says they're mandatory. And Superintendent Mark Thielman says he will go to battle to back that new policy. He says that if Samaritan Health Services, the Nation of Israel, the Biden administration, Europe, and the CDC all say we have to switch to the KN95 mask, that means cloth and paper masks don't work. And I would not be an ethical or professional superintendent if I tell people to keep wearing them. Now, OSHA is looking at the LC School District. Aaron Corvin with OSHA says that they've already fined the LC School District $420 for not following the mask rules. And he says, Corvin does, that they have received several complaints about the district within the last few days. No word on whether those complaints are actually coming from within the district or outside of the district. And Thielman, for his part, says, I'm not concerned about it. I'm comfortable with it. A lot of my colleagues are. And he says that the district will appeal any fines and pay up if necessary. That's just one thing. Now, it turns out the Oregon Department of Education is wagging its naughty finger at LC because they're not enforcing the masks in the classroom. At this point, they have made them optional. And ODE says now it's going to withhold elementary and secondary school education relief funds and additional monies for schools to navigate the challenges of the pandemic from the LC schools until the district comes back into compliance with state laws and regulations. Oregon Department of Education Director Colt Gill claims the move puts staff and students at risk, and ODE does not support the decision in the LC school district. Now, what the LC School District actually voted on unanimously on the 13th was declaring the return of local decision-making regarding masks and COVID-19 protocols. And that new guidance went into effect yesterday. So, if a parent decides to send their child to school with a mask, the student will be fully supported, according to the statement from the school, but other safety protocols will still stay in place, and you have to wear a mask on the bus because the feds say that you have to do that. We will have Mark Thielman, the superintendent from the LC School District, on my show, The Wake Up Call, tomorrow morning at 6:40. We're going to be talking about this. Turns out Thielman, by the way, in case you didn't already know, is running for governor in the state, and we're going to be chatting about a number of issues, including what's happening in LC up Highway 34. So this is interesting. We keep hearing about how hospitals are overloaded with patients. Well, it turns out that hundreds of patients are actually stuck in hospitals waiting to be discharged because there's staffing shortages around the entire Oregon healthcare system. And that means that hospitals are actually keeping patients longer and unable to release them. According to Dave Northfield with the Oregon Association of Hospitals and Health Systems, he says we're in a situation where people are coming to the hospital and staying longer than they need to be. And he says the pipeline isn't working like it's supposed to. Now, as of yesterday, the Oregon Health Authority shows that there are 577 patients stuck in hospitals waiting to be discharged. Another 299 people, at least on Monday, were waiting for a hospital bed. So, what are the factors? Well, one of them, according to a national research company, Morning Consult, it showed that 18% of healthcare workers were either quitting or firing during the pandemic. Why were they fired? Oh, because they didn't do that, which added to an already existing healthcare labor shortage. On top of the challenges, Oregon had more than 1,000 COVID patients in the hospital Monday. All right, now, how many of those patients were actually there because of COVID or something else and tested COVID once they got to the hospital? And a question remains, how many of those 1,000 COVID patients actually could have been released? Because, well, they can't release everybody because they're short on staff. The other thing that's leading to problems is that there are a lot of non-COVID patients that have been trying to get treatments and surgeries for 2 years, but have been delayed because of the pandemic. A former marketing manager for Nike was fired from the company because he refused to provide his coronavirus vaccine information to a third party. 53-year-old Dex Briggs worked for Nike for 22 years, and they fired him because he refused to upload his vaccination status to a party's online verification portal. It's a third-party online verification portal. And Briggs said, I have my vaccination card and I'm quite willing to show it, but I'm not willing to give my personal information to this outside company and any other company they want to share it with without even telling me who they are. And Briggs has a reason to be kind of paranoid about that because he and his wife have been victims of identity theft in the past. And he says that he's frustrated with Nike because they wouldn't recognize his vaccine card as proof of vaccination. Another reason he might want to be paranoid is because the unions made an agreement to back Governor Brown's vaccine mandates for state workers if she put it off a little while. But there was a promise made between the governor and the unions, and that is none of the information from those state workers and their vaccination and medical status was going to be shared. And then, of course, the state immediately sent an Excel spreadsheet of everyone's vaccination status to the Oregonian and the Statesman Journal. Why be paranoid? So we're going to end with this. And this is a mammoth case that is about a month away from being heard in Oregon's Court of Appeals. Now, it's a lawsuit that was originally brought by Linn County claiming that the state has breached a contract that it agreed upon years ago, decades. And the disagreement centers on timber revenues from about 700,000 acres of state forest lands, most of which were donated to the state by county governments back in the 1930s and the 1940s. So we're going back a ways here. Now, counties and other taxing bodies are entitled to a share of the logging revenues, and historically, those monies have been a big part of county budgets. While the state, under an agreement going back over 70 years ago, is required to manage the forest lands for their, and this is a legal quote, greatest permanent value. And you're going to hear a lot about that coming up. Now, that used to mean logging, but about 20 years ago, the state just decided to change the interpretation of that concept pretty radically and greatly curtailed, and in a lot of cases, completely shut down forests and utterly destroyed a lot of timber-reliant counties and districts. So in 2009, Linn County, along with 13 other counties, decided that they were going to take the state to court, and they did so in a Linn County courtroom. And they won over $1 billion in a lawsuit on behalf of all of those counties. The jury determined that the state government had violated its contractual obligation to maximize timber revenues for the counties. And though that judgment has since been accumulating roughly $260,000 a day in interest, the state government has opted against settling the lawsuit. The main claim by the state is the suit shouldn't even have gone to a jury because the counties lack an enforceable contract governing the land's management. The county governments argue they never would have given up large swaths of forest land if the state could simply reduce the logging levels and timber revenues at will. Even the lead attorney for the counties, John DiLorenzo, said, "Who in their right mind would have done that?" Well, on February 22nd, the Oregon Court of Appeals is going to hear arguments to decide which of those perspectives is legally correct. And a key question in the litigation is whether the counties have the ability to challenge the state's forestry decisions. And that's because counties are subdivisions of state government. And the state's attorneys argue the counties lack the power. And the counties simply say they have a right to enforce their contract with the state. All right, again, tomorrow morning, we'll have Mark Thielman on our show from the LC School District on KPNW starting at 6:40. You can stream it at kpnw.com. And your news has been brought to you by Dr. Bratland of Chris Dental. And now it's time for you to get rolled in a real way with Rick.
A lot of crowns, and we do really good crowns. And it's funny, a patient asked me the other day, is like, how are you giving such cheap crowns? And I think they think that maybe I'm having like lesser quality. I have really good quality crowns, and we do really good work. And we charge, if you don't have insurance, we charge $998. So let's say you break a tooth and you know you need a crown, you can call us, and that's how much you're paying. We're not gonna charge you all these add-ons. You don't want a crown that breaks. I don't want stuff from China. It's a local lab. They're phenomenal. You're gonna come in the chair. We're not gonna charge you for a limited exam, X-ray, a core build-up, and a crown. We're gonna charge you $998.
Now, to get that $998 price, you do have to mention Get Real with Rick Dancer, and then Dr. Bretland will give you that special price. He's done one of my crowns, and he's my dentist. He's a great guy. My gym, Elements Health Club, Casey Mitchell. I'm going to miss my gym more than anything. Every day I go in there and I'm like, I don't think I'm going to find a place where I'm going to have a sauna and all the different things. In fact, let me show real quick. I'm just going to show people. I did some little video for folks because I think a lot of times people think of a gym as just the weights, the classes, and we have all that and we feature it all the time. But I mean, we also, one of the most popular places in that gym is this sauna. There is nothing better than after a workout going in and sitting in a sauna. And I've read articles about this, that it is the greatest thing for your body to help. It's like stretching. I mean, I stretch too, but it's really good for your body to get the lactic acid out. And I don't have as much pain in my joints and stuff like that. It's not just sitting in there sweating, although that does feel really good. But there is science behind it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it does feel good. It's great to do it before your workout or after your workout. It's fantastic.
I see people sitting in there before they go in to get your muscles kind of warmed up and lubed up. We also have a steam room. It's getting fixed right now. We have a hot tub in men's and women's locker rooms if you want to do the hot tub thing by yourself. And then we also have what I use today in the fog. First thing in the morning, we have an outdoor lap pool.
That's Fort Montana, right?
And that's Jay going.
There's Jay, the hardest working guy in the industry right there.
He is. And you guys, that thing over to the right, that's the therapy pool. And then that other big pool back there, it's closed in the winter, but it's open in the summertime for families and stuff. So we have lap pools at all of our facilities. The other two are indoors, but this one is outdoors. And I'll tell you what, that's another thing I'm going to really miss. A lot of gyms just do not have a lap pool swimming pool at all. And so, yeah, so if you guys are looking for, so Casey, I saw a sign on the wall today, and I hope I'm not throwing you off. We're doing some insurance thing with at our gym and down there. Do you know anything about that?
Well, we have several insurance programs, and most of them are through the Senior and Fit or Silver Sneakers or something along those lines. But we, you know what, we're always doing whatever we possibly can to bring the community in at a better rate. So if there's insurance things going on, that does not surprise me. That's somebody else's category or department, but I can get to the bottom of it and find out exactly what we have going on. But I'm sure it's great.
So talk to me about staying healthy. We want to start doing this really focused for people, because I think one thing I do appreciate about the management and staff at Elements Health Club is you're not pushing like, here's the supplements you have to have and here's this extra program. It's really a lifestyle about getting healthy, and it doesn't mean you have to be twiggy or macho dude when you come out the door. It's about being healthy, not that, we all want to look better too, but I don't think that's not the focus.
It's interesting that you say that, Rick. It's we're not in pressure sales. Like, nothing that we do is intended to be a pressure situation for people. And it really is those who want to take action, raise their hands and come forward. And you'll see that in, there's no better place, obviously, than in group classes, our cardio Group X classes and our academy classes, where you kind of build and develop trust with the other members and with the instructor. And then you ask, you raise your hand and say, look, I've been coming here to these classes, kicking my own butt and getting my butt kicked by everybody else, and I'm not seeing the results that I feel like I should be seeing. Well, you can't out-exercise poor nutrition. Okay,
Right.
The 300 calories, or in some cases, if you're doing an academy class, 60-minute high intensity interval training class, spinning class, something like that, gals will burn about 500 to 600 calories. Guys will burn about 700 to 800 calories, maybe 900. You just can't, offset that by just not following a nutritional program. right? So if you burn that 500 calories, but you can easily do a 500 calorie snack at the local,
You could
Subway
have
shop.
you could have a Starbucks latte, and that would take you over the top. Some of those drinks I see in there, it's just a milkshake. It's not really coffee, And
Yeah,
people walk
all
out.
the research shows that we underestimate how much we eat by about 40%. So you have that on top. Oh, absolutely. So there's a couple of easy things that you can do. A tracker like MyFitnessPal, something like that, that you can journal your foods down. You'll automatically eat like 15% less just by tracking your foods.
Wow. So your workout, I've heard you and other people say this, is the workout really starts in the kitchen.
Yeah, I mean, you hear abs are made in the kitchen, absolutely. But what you're really talking about is exercise is a horrific weight loss program. It's horrific. It's a fantastic weight maintenance program. In fact, you need it for weight maintenance. But for weight loss in general, what you need is to be consuming fewer calories than you're actually burning. So if you do that, you're going to have weight loss. It's pretty simple to do. And that's why all diets work for the most part. I mean, you want to make sure that you have nutrients available for your body, obviously. But how that diet is masked is going to be, is kind of the thing. So it's either going to be time restricted or it's going to be food restricted, meaning that you don't eat gluten or you don't eat this or you don't eat that. A paleo plan, a zone plan, it's basically calorie restricted. However you decide to put it, it's all going to have to be calorie restricted to a certain extent in order to be successful. And what I find fascinating, I just had this thought when I was feeding my dog today, is like, we're so good at, if our pets get overweight, that the vet tells us cut their food down from 3 scoops to 2 scoops or whatever, or switch their food to a different formula, and
Right.
we do it. But when it comes to ourselves, we sometimes are like, I'm just not going to do that for myself. I've got a Siberian Husky that's actually 30 pounds overweight, and she shouldn't be, but it's because she is a foodie and we want to make her happy. We do the same thing. We have that emotional ties to food. We have especially now, emotional mismanagement is such a huge thing, and we're all dealing with some level of emotional mismanagement from all of the stuff that's going on around us. And how we decide to comfort ourselves can come from, food, sugar, alcohol, all the things. It's a pretty big deal.
So Corey says she wants to know, can you go at your own pace?
Oh, absolutely. Are you talking about the classes or are you talking about nutrition? Actually, both.
Right. I think you could answer both of that.
Yeah, I mean, the classes are really intended for people to jump in wherever they are. There's modifications for any exercise. The whole idea is that we just want people moving. We want them inspired and having fun. And if you can stay consistent with the program because of those reasons, you're going to be successful. So, if you're coming in and feeling like you're going through a boot camp and you don't enjoy that style of training, you're not going to like it very much and you're not going to stick around.
So what we do, I know at our gyms, that one of the things that we're doing a lot of is making the classes so that, like, Sarah and people are really good at making the classes so that if you are a little slower, like when we do a HIIT class or one of the new classes, you've got people on different teams and we're all supporting each other. And it's really true. It's not BS. It's like people are really supporting each other. You're so busy trying to do your own stuff. You're not too worried about what the guy or girl next to you is doing. You know what I mean?
It's really true. One of the things I always say, and this is actually one of my mentors who kind of like brought this to my attention, and I don't know where it came from, but if you take a group photo of 100 people, who do you look at when you see the photo? You're only looking for yourself. So what does that mean? That, we all think that other people are looking at, how we're dressed or how we're sweating or what makeup is running or whatever the case is. And really everybody else is kind of doing their own thing. They're not looking at what everybody else is going through. So that's something really important to understand. And, what I love about HIIT training and timers is that 45 seconds is going. It doesn't matter if you get 45 reps in 45 seconds or 10 reps in 45 seconds. You start at the same time, you finish at the same time.
Yeah. I wish people who were overweight and really struggling would come to a class and see that there are other people who are overweight, underweight, and also struggling, and know that it really isn't that there's not a competition there. You're really, when Kathy and I are doing that, I'm competing against Rick Dancer.
Right.
Like I said, there's so many people. We have, 15, 20 people sometimes in those classes, and but everybody's like supporting one another. And I think, don't you think that's the real key is to you get connected to something like this, like a gym, and the people in it. I know that's one of the things that's like family to Kathy. I mean, that's one of the
The
things we're gonna
community will keep people coming to the gym no matter what, knowing that you're going to be missed if you're not there, or feeling a little bit of FOMO if you're not there. But it reminds me of a story. We had a new gal who came to a class one time, and she was actually having a hard time just through the warm up. And one of our members was actually helping her through the exercises through the warm up, and was taking his time, just explaining things and just sticking close to her. And I just felt, this was an important time to when we brought the whole class together before we kicked off the whole exercise routine. I said, let's raise your hand if you've been with us and you've lost 10 pounds or more. And everybody raised their hand. And I said, raise your hand if you lost 20. We went up to 110. That gentleman who was helping that lady get started through her warm-up had lost 110 pounds with us. And it was like, but nobody knew where anybody had been in their journey. And they don't remember, like, they come in, they think everybody's in shape. They don't know that people have literally been through a journey of weight loss or illness or whatever's going on. They've been through it. And that's where that community comes from. Is we identify with that, we team up together, we get that power from each other. It's probably one of the most important things about that community.
Yeah, we have a woman in our classes, and Mandy won't mind me saying her name. In fact, I'll tell you what I can also do just to make it even better. I have a picture of her. Where are you, Mandy? On here, I think this is Mandy. Yep. That's that's even a smaller picture than what she was on the left. That's what she looked like before. And on the right is what she looks like today. And she actually, like I said, she was, I think, even like 50 pounds heavier than that. And when the first time she and Sarah were talking about it, and I was like, no, I mean, seriously, I can't remember how many pounds, but it's like a large person that she lost, like shed. That is commitment. To me, that's like, I don't know if I could do that. You know what I mean? To lose that kind of weight, you have to be so committed. You and I kind of just, you do, if you keep it where you're supposed to be, you can kind of fluctuate and you're okay, but have to go from that to lose all that. I don't know if I can do it, Corey, yes, you can get help. We have trainers there. We have people that can help you come up with your own plan of something designed for you. There's all kinds of help available like that. Casey, I think you might have frozen. Talk to me. All right. Well, we're wrapped up anyway. So Casey, thank you for being with us. Thanks for helping us out. I'm going to pull him off there so that freeze frame is out of there. Again, Elements Health Club. Somebody had asked, what name were you talking about? So it's Elements Health Club in Lane County. And again, they're one of our sponsors. And I think you should go try it, look at it, see what you're thinking. So she's going crazy. Yeah, Matt, you should come in there. You'd love it. I can be intimidating in the beginning, but Mandy's story is inspirational. It is. It can be very intimidating in the beginning. So one of the other things that we do with our Elements Health Club night, our night of taking care of our health, is Brian Avalon, one of the owners, loves travel stories. He likes the things Kathy and I do for stuff. So being that I'm leaving Friday's my last day in Oregon and I'm heading off to Montana, we'll still be doing this and still be bringing you all this information. And I'll just be going to a different gym, and I won't be talking bad about it, but I'll probably be thinking like, oh God, I wish I was back in Eugene and Springfield at my gym. But one of the things he really loves, I wanted to bring this story to you because this is probably one of my favorite stories I've ever done. Photographer Ben McKee and I were working at KZI doing a ghost town series on the coast, and we had stuff set up in Scottsburg, Oregon. But when we got there early, and I said, let's go up to the cemetery and take some pictures. And we went up there to get some video, and there was this man, and he was there walking around digging a hole in the ground. And what we noticed was, and what you'll see in the story, is he was there to bury his wife, who was from Scottsburg, and she had been cremated, and he was there to bury her. But what happens in a good story is everything about that ghost town series kind of turned around and included these real people and who they were. So let me play this, and we'll be back. And just sit back and enjoy yourself. This is brought to you by Elements Health Clubs, because part of living healthy, I think, is just understanding and loving people.
Good evening, I'm Rick Dancer. Oregon is home to dozens and dozens of ghost towns, and tonight photographer Ben McKee spent a half hour taking you to some of those places. You probably think that a ghost town has to be vacant to be considered a ghost town. That's not true. Many people call ghost towns their home. There's also a ghost town in Oregon that is coming back from its ashes. We're going to take you there as well. We begin our journey tonight in a little ghost town I bet you've passed through 100 times on your way to Coos Bay. It's a little place called Scottsburg. They came from Ireland, France, and places in between. The early settlers of Scottsburg, Oregon. Silent now. Their history left behind on tombstones, in old pictures, and in stories revisited by those who still live here.
She liked it here, peaceful. Yeah. So.
This was raised in Scottsburg.
There's a lot of them there that I'd have to look. A lot of the old timers were there. We had some characters that I guess every town does.
At one time, Scottsburg was a place where miners gathered supplies to head south to look for gold near Roseburg and beyond.
They run mule trains and pack trains from here to Roseburg. This was back in the 1800s, of course.
It was an shipping port.
It used to be the head of navigation, and sailing ships would come up there, and that's as far as up the river as they could get.
On this day, when we ran into Pat, his visit was not about Scottsburg or its history.
It was home, and it's, like I say, my mother and father, I got brothers, sisters, all buried here.
As he carried the remains of his wife with him, this day was about his history, a period that had ended for him.
You want to get the history on Scottsburg, talk to Henry Freer. He lives right there in town. He's the unofficial mayor.
We'll come back to a little later. We found the mayor in what's left of Scottsburg, just down the road a bit. The way Henry Freer tells it, his great-grandfather's brother walked to Scottsburg from San Francisco over 100 years ago. How long has your family been here?
Oh, it's 1851.
So you are Scottsburg?
Yeah, kind of.
Scottsburg was named after a businessman named Levi Scott. Scott owned the Mercantile. There used to be an upper, middle, and lower Scottsburg. The town was a center of commerce from the coast for those going south into California. This was the last stop for ship traffic. Two floods in 1861 wiped out the lower and middle sections of Scottsburg. The highway came in, everything changed. Instead of stopping, cargo just bypassed Scottsburg. Now dozens of families live in the hills and backcountry surrounding the area. Just a few, like Mayor Henry, live in town.
Everybody does their own thing around here.
So what keeps people here?
The way I had it figured is a guy just will stay here. There's always work to be done around the local area. Why run all over the state? That's what they want you to do, and I won't do it.
Rugged individualists.
I kind of like everything the way it used to be, and I don't like the modern day stuff.
A place where the old ways work just fine. How is it decided who becomes mayor in Scottsburg?
Well, it just happens.
What do you mean
They start calling you mayor, and it just goes from there.
A place where personal freedom outranks everything.
I can kind of do what I want. I don't have to answer to anybody, more or less. I'm a freer, and I'm free right here.
A place where anyone can be mayor.
And I don't know, I ain't gonna be around for it.
Scottsburg, Oregon. A place people like Pat Thomas come back to forever. What's her name?
Barbara.
How long were you married?
Almost 52 years.
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
What are you going to miss the most about her?
Just miss everything about her, really. She's a special, special lady.
Yep. Those are those are the stories that tell a story of Oregon that I really am going to miss. I'll tell you what, you're a state. We are a state. This is a place with some pretty amazing people and rugged. I mean, you think about pioneers who came here, back in the gold rush and in the 1800s, and people died and they struggled to get over those mountains. What were they doing? Well, probably a lot of my relatives were escaping from something, trying to get away from something. They were rugged. And a gold miner once told me in Granite, Oregon, Bonnie Skidsgull told me in a mine, she said, you know what, Rick? Oregonians are rugged individualists. And she said, and that's a good thing and it's a bad thing. It means we think we know everything and we don't work well with other people. And I think she was on to something. Spockers is where I climbed the rig for logging. Matt, you're from there. We're getting a new bridge there. It's amazing. You're welcome, Brian, for putting that out there. You betcha, buddy. So we have a lot to be proud of. But you know what? Sometimes in your spirit, that's just for me. That's from Kathy. That's what it is. It's that rugged individualist spirit, and we got to move on. We got to kind of find our way. So we're going to be bringing you the same stories. We got people working here. Kim's going to be doing the elements, and she's going to be doing some other stuff for us. Bill London will still be working for us. We're getting a guy in Idaho who's going to bring us some Idaho stories, and Kathy and I are going to bring you stories of Montana to show you a different picture of the Pacific Northwest. And bottom line is, it's all about people, and how we can better ourselves and better do what we do. So anyway, every Tuesday you will find an old Rick Dancer story on here, thanks to Elements Health Club. And don't you think we all need something more to smile about? That's why I think I love Tuesdays, because it's fun to look back, but it's also nice to know that I can have control over my body and how I eat and what I do. And there's simple ways I can connect with people. And don't we all really want to connect with people right now? I think we do. So anyway, I think it's going to be fun. And Janelle says, excited for you to come join us in Montana. Well, I'm excited to come join you. And I'm glad that we're picking at Montana people already. So that's pretty fun. So that's it for tonight. Now, what you can do for me and Elements and Chris Dental and New Leaf Hyperbarics, share this on your page. So just instantly share it on your page. You don't have to put anything on it, but and then that way, when people come on there and see what you're doing, you'll be providing content for them, and you'll be helping my clients at the same time. So I'm Rick Dancer. We will be back tomorrow night. Let me think. What are we doing tomorrow night? We're going to go visit. Rosa Real Estate is doing a business a month. They're going to give away a bunch of gift cards. So we'll tell you how you can win some. And this is going to be a fun one. You're going to win them to Swallowtail Distillery in Springfield. We're going to talk to Kevin, find out more about what he's doing over there in Springfield. But we're also going to be giving away gift certificates. And I don't know how we do that, because I don't think you can give away alcohol. We'll figure that part out. There's always a way to bend the rule. We'll figure it out. So that's tomorrow. We're also going to be talking with Lonnie Woodruff, with Transworld, about how you can dream about a new life, and he can help you find a new business. All right. We will talk to you tomorrow. Oh, you have a cousin in Big Fork, beautiful country in Big Fork. All right. Have a good evening, you guys. I will see you right here tomorrow. And thank you, Elements, for all your support.